SmallTALK. What's up, y'all? We're here with another episode of SmallTALK, where you have two queens, two perspectives, one topic. Asia, what we get into today?
Today we are going to talk about just growing up in the church, like growing up in the Black church. Okay.
Ooh, boy, oh boy. All right, where? I don't even know where to begin with that. First of all, this pod will not be as long as church service, okay? Because service literally lasted from morning till night.
Literally morning to night, like sun up to sundown.
It was terrible. It was traumatizing.
Honestly, for real, it really was.
Yeah, it was long. It started like at 9:30, whatever time Sunday school started. And that's only if, so it was Sunday school and then like regular service, right? But that's only if you didn't have like early morning service.
I was about to say, don't forget about the early morning service.
So you had to be there. And some people had like, I believe at one point I had like prayer and shut-in at the beginning, or like sunrise
service,
whatever, where you had to be there, pray, sit through that, go through Sunday school, sit through that, then regular service started at 10:30, 11, go through that, eat at the church, and come back. And it would run all night long, and it was just so long. It was so long. It was so tiring, and it was just,
unnecessary. Like, if I can be so real, like, I just feel like it was unnecessary. Like, and and being a child, like, first of all, it was like, why do we need to be here this long? Like, I don't get it, like, because then, like, at the church that I was at growing up, Southern Baptist, that was the denomination, but we would do the hymnals. So only at the morning service, we didn't actually have real praise and worship. It was just the hymns. And then they told you when you could open the hymnal to page whatever. They always had a sign that would tell you that for that Sunday. And then we had to do the responsive reading.
Oh,
remember? That was like, and then back in that red hymnal book.
Oh, yes.
That matched the red pews. We had red pews.
We had blue.
I know. Okay. Okay, to the blue. No, we had this burgundy.
Most have
just this velvety. And it was always hot in the church I grew up in. Always hot. But it was, I was not happy about that. Having to present to the church after Sunday school. They make us line up. Tell us what you learned from then we had the My Daily Bread. Do you remember those little books?
Oh yeah, the little
devotional books.
Yeah. I still get some of those.
Right?
To this day. Yeah. It was just a lot. I'm thankful for it because it kind of shaped and molded who I am today. And a lot of my Christianity and beliefs come from obviously growing up in that religion specifically. But it's so funny because you hear people now like, oh, I'm going to have a Baptist fit. I grew up in Church of God in Christ, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing across all Black churches or most Black churches anyway. And boy, oh boy, when the spirit high and that that's it. Yeah.
Okay. You always have.
That's my tambourine.
Wait, not a tambourine.
What? I had
you always had one person in there that showed out on that tambourine, and I'd be like, "Yo, what you doing? Chill!"
So low key, honestly, that's a gift and a talent.
Thank you.
Because not everybody can play the tambourine, and they used to tear that thing.
Tear it. You hear me?
Tear it up. That and shouting.
I was just about to say the footwork that I saw. Okay, with the shouting,
it's a lot.
And I will be honest. I had the gift of the tambourine. Okay, I even got to play the washboard. I don't know if anybody knows about the washboard. Absolutely not. About the washboard. But when it came to shouting, I was like, yo, I know how to do the heel toe type of thing, But that footwork was impeccable.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if you are a man, a woman, a kid. When I tell you,
let me tell you,
impeccable.
And honestly, like, so I don't know what type of worshiper you are, but growing up, I was always the like meek, quiet kind of observer, and I'd be like, I thank God, like, you know, in my own little, because I didn't want people to know like what. But as an adult, when that spirit hits you, listen, and the drums going, and the piano going, and everything, and the beat just drops, like, I fully understand a shout now. Yeah. Because before, I'm just like, I would practice. I'd be like, in my house, like, oh, okay, I got to, okay, but you got to move your hands. Right, because you got to get it. You got to catch your rhythm. It's coordination. Man, but when it hits, you forget the coordination. Sometimes you just go freely. And it truly, like, that's just one thing that I enjoy the most. I used to laugh when I was a kid, when I used to see people catch the spirit. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. In the church, because it would be like, oh my God, they faking. They faking. You got sister such and such over there. Hey! Shouting. Hey! Okay, Miss. Girl, if you don't shut up, I know something. She used to, go ahead. You still got the ones that encourage the preacher to keep going, and you're like, shut up. You better say that. You better say that. I'm ready to go home. No, I'm ready to go home. Speaking of that, though, when pastors used to say, and they still say now, I'm almost done. No, you're not, sir. Sir, don't lie in church. Okay? He's halfway through. You're not right. You just got started. Mm-hmm. You just got started. Mm-hmm. You're not almost done. And then have your way. Have your way. Have your way. Sir. You should have had your way in praise and worship. Okay? We're hungry. Yeah, we're tired. And then as a kid, like, on a serious tip though, as a kid, having to be up that long all day, and then the food that we were eating, like in between services, we always had either the chicken shack that we would go to a corner store, get like a CNC soda and a couple things from there, right? And then, or we would have like a full meal, whether it was like fried fish or fried chicken, something that was making us sleepy. Mm-hmm. So y'all, right? My little brother, love him, but he used to knock out. Yeah. So they used to make him stand up in the middle of service. In the middle of service. And back in the day, at least the black church I grew up in, everybody was like an auntie or an uncle. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just like, it was like, okay, well, even if mom might not see you, because mom might be, you know, at the nurse's station, she might be ushering where she can't get to you like she wants to, but she just give you the eyes. Mm-hmm. But sister so-and-so was like, I got him. And they give you that pinch right under the right under the little arm. Mm-hmm. Unnecessary. Yep. It was an experience. I won't say that it was terrible because I enjoy every part of growing up in a black church. Mm-hmm. It's just funny to relive some of those things as an adult now. Yes. Because now I can sit through a full service. It's nothing for me now. But as a kid, you didn't want to be there. No. Your weekends consisted of Saturdays and Saturdays only because you knew that Sunday it was church and then coming home and preparing yourself for Monday for school the next day. Yeah. So you wanted to have I didn't even have the Saturday. We used to go out with our tracks. And we used to do like a water drive type thing. Walk up and down the street in Jersey, with our little tracks in our hands. Mm-hmm. Do you know Jesus? We had our Bible. We had to have we didn't have our Bibles on the phones, nothing like that. Mm-hmm. That wasn't even a thing. We would have our actual Bible, had the tracks, had our jean skirts down to our ankles, denim skirts with the white socks and the K-Swiss sneakers. Mm-hmm. And then an I Love Jesus shirt, but the heart was like a Pepsi. For some reason, we were doing a lot, okay? Just a lot. Right. And we had prayer caps on. We had to have those on our heads. And yeah, that was usually like our Saturday. Mm-hmm. So we really only had like Saturday night. And then we were at church all day Sunday. All day Sunday. Yeah, and then don't forget you got to come back on whatever day you have Bible study during the week. For us, it was Tuesdays. We had on Wednesdays. Okay, but then you have like youth Bible study. So that was a whole different day. If they didn't decide to do it on the same day, they never did. You had choir rehearsal. You had and that just seemed long and long and long because nobody knew the songs. Nobody knew the key. They still don't know this. Okay, we don't know the lyrics. Yes. Till this day, some churches still have difficulties with these things. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Like
it's I believe it's like genetic.
I really think so. And then we had to color coordinate. We used to do black bottoms. And we would always pick like a weird colored top.
We did white.
So we would do a white, but then it would have to be like a pop of like a pink. And then a pop of like this ugly green looking color.
Yeah.
But that was only with the youth. And then once I got older, why do we have so many choirs? So I don't know about y'all, but growing up in a black church, we had the kids choir. I get that. Okay.
Yes.
We actually had the young adults choir.
Yes.
Okay. And then we had the male chorus. We had the women's choir. And then we had the one with everybody.
We also we called ours the Golden Voices, which were the elderly choir.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
So if you were past a certain age, the elderly choir, they were called the Golden Voices.
Okay.
So it was very interesting to say the least. And everybody had a designated Sunday. Youth Sunday was Fifth Sunday. And then Sunday. Women's choir had every first and third or whatever it was.
That's right.
And Lord, if you had communion, you was in church for another 2 hours.
And you better be in all white.
All white.
You bet to be in all white. Your white stockings.
White everything. White everything. And like I said, I'm very thankful for these experiences because it ultimately was fun.
Yeah.
I loved going. Don't get me wrong. I loved going. But when I was there, I wanted to go home.
Yeah.
Because it was just so long. But your church friends actually became family.
Oh, that was my family. In fact, like even to this day, I was at that church when I was growing up or whatever, but those are my play cousins. To be honest, some of them I didn't even know were not my real cousins until later on, just because we were always together throughout the week, and then Sundays, and then usually after Sundays we would have some type of dinner at somebody's house. Always doing stuff together. So I have so many god brothers and god sisters that came out of nowhere, right? That I've known my whole life. So I'm truly, truly grateful for my experience growing up in a black church. And I find that it's like, and I was telling Brittany this before, y'all, that even though Brittany grew up in Miami, right? I grew up in Jersey, but we had very similar experiences growing up in a black church. And it was cool. It was long. There's some things that I think we did wrong, right? That I'm grateful that now I think we're relearning some of the things that weren't done right necessarily. I think back then it was a lot of, we didn't have a lot of practical preaching and teaching. It was a lot more of just spiritual. And then it was okay, but once I leave the church, how do I actually live every day? Right. And I think now we realize that, and it's but we're still humans, right? We still have to live and go to work and things like that. So I think we've been able to find a balance, at least in my experience, right? But growing up, man, in the black church
was interesting to say the least.
Woo!
It was fun. It was, you always had that one lady that sold something after church, whether it was hot sausage, pickled egg, candy, fruit cups, or whatever y'all call them, flip cups, whatever y'all decide to call them. After church, you was looking for her. You were looking forward to that. And then you always had that person in church that you knew that they were going to call up to either pray or to sing a solo. And you was like, dang, we finna be here for another 45 minutes. Cause
it's don't ask anybody else if they have a testimony.
Yes.
Please don't. Giving honor to God,
who's ahead of my life. Yes. And that's another thing. So there are key terms that are used across the board in every black church.
I agree.
Every black church.
I agree.
I feel like we low-key all kind of fill in the blanks almost.
Yes.
Everywhere we go.
I think that's completely true. Yeah, but the giving honor to God, ahead of my life. That is, when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, that's home. That's a good one.
That's when you know. That's when you know. So it just, and I real quick, I mean, growing up black in the church, we have our different perspectives of church, and then as an adult now, still practicing our same faith and going to church. It's a different experience, I'd say, when we were growing up going, it was more routine, and you were just going to go because your parents made you to go,
right?
Not realizing that they were instilling certain things in you,
values, and
exactly.
I completely agree with that.
But being there now, I feel like I've had a lot of people that I grew up in the church with that no longer are Christians or chose to practice other religions or whatever their faith is now. They chose that because they were able to grow up and do the research for themselves or got into the research part of it. I'm one of those people that didn't stray away from what I was taught. So it's just interesting to see those perspectives now. And but church has changed so much. And as an adult looking, it's you got to be careful, because if you don't know, if you're not rooted and grounded, it'll persuade you a little bit to be like, is this a show? Is this an act? What are they talking about? Why are they preaching these things? This is not in the Bible. Whose Bible is this? Who wrote this thing? Man wrote this thing. Like, so it's a lot of ins and outs, and I talk to my friends and my family all the time about like just having your faith, believing in what you believe in, because that's one nation under God. That is a statement that's across the board. It's on the dollar bill. Like
it is on the dollar bill.
It's there. There's God. There's a higher power. There's God. So I feel like I said, we took these stereotypes, and it's real. It's real. I won't even call it a stereotype because it's factual.
It is
happened in the church.
Part of the Black church experience.
Part of the Black church.
It just is. Yes. This is a fact.
Yes. I was watching. You know what? Last night I was watching a new episode of. Jamie Foxx has a new show. Don't Embarrass Me, Dad, or something. It's on Netflix, whatever. I clicked it. And the second episode, I believe, is his daughter comes to live with him. And she doesn't believe in God.
Okay.
For her own reasons.
Right.
She just didn't do that. Yeah. She used to live with her mom, and she goes to yoga and spiritual healing like that.
So more like new age type of.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
And Jamie is crazy, and he's like, you're going to church? What you mean you don't believe in God? Like, we're Black people go to church. We're not going to do no split with no wind blowing through our hair. And it was funny, but it's so true as to what Black folks like. That's what we did growing up. You are going to church. Whether you like it or not, you're going to church.
It's honestly, it's true. And I can even like, because now I'm also thinking about like, even like my family, right? Like, so, and I feel like a lot of Black folks, like, well, growing up at least, it was like you were either part of Nation of Islam or you're Christian.
Right.
But like in my family, but no one grew up in Nation of Islam, right? Everybody had to go to church.
Right.
And then at some point, some folks just decided like, this ain't for me, right? And even for myself, I think when I got to a place where I had only known Christianity, right? And I knew that my uncles, they were part of the Nation of Islam and different things like that. But it wasn't until I got to college that I had to ask myself like, whoa, I had a roommate, right? And she believed in, she's a Wiccan.
What?
A Wiccan. So basically, think about like, so she believes, well, I don't know all that she believes, but the way she described it to me, like she believes that there are multiple lives that we live, right? So she was telling me about her past life and her future life. She's going to be a tree, and she's going to have tree thoughts. And she believed in like the stars, and not only the stars, but she did like witchcraft, right? So like spells and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
So imagine me growing up in a Black church.
Right.
I only knew of that and Islam. I didn't know anything else. So hearing that, I was like, whoa, there's like other belief systems. There's like other things. And for me, I did take it upon myself to learn about those things, right? To be sure, and to see if what I believed was what I believed, right? And also to figure out if I'm going to be interacting with just people in general in the world, everybody's not going to have the same belief system as that I do, right? So being able to say, hey, what you believe is what you believe. I believe in asking questions. I believe in, being curious about, even like for folks that don't really understand Christianity, right? Ask questions about that. Like that, there's nothing wrong with asking questions, right? But do it, I feel like, in a respectful way. in a way that's not demeaning to somebody's whole belief system, right? In the way that I would hope that Christians don't do that to other people, right? But I'm saying all that to say, like, I do believe everybody has some type of belief system. Even for people that are atheists, right? That is your belief system. You just don't believe that there is, right? But I think it's just a beautiful thing to have experienced just the memories. And like for Black folks that did grow up in the Black church, whether you believe in, you know, in Jesus or whomever, right? Just having those memories, I think, is just such a beautiful thing and a beautiful part of like our history
and our culture.
Yes,
like
and
that's
it's a huge part of our fish fries. Okay, doing the little dinners.
Still, even funerals. When someone passes away in the Black church community, whatever you want to call it, it is well known that there will be a fish fry.
Yeah,
before.
Absolutely.
Before, and there might be one after. So you always do a repast. Always do a repast, and then whatever you decide to do after the wake, because there's always a wake.
Always a wake.
And then
and the whole community shows up. The whole church family shows up, right? Like, and I think that's one of the lessons that I took from growing up in a Black church. That's where I learned a sense of community. That's where, and that's what stuck with me the most. Just having just like this beautiful sense of just unity and like we're in this together, and it's a beautiful thing. It was part of it was traumatizing growing up in the Black church.
Part of it,
but a big part of it as an adult now speaking on it, I'm like, man, those are beautiful times.
They were.
Like they were really beautiful times.
I wouldn't take it away.
Oh, absolutely not. No, I would never.
Before we head on out, you want to lead us in one of the infamous praise and worship Black across the board.
Which one are you thinking?
Across the board.
Because I know you got one.
It don't matter. There's plenty of
them. No, you go.
There's plenty. Let's let me see. Hold on. Man. Come on, Asia. Give me one. That's another thing. So the problem with doing this too, because I was about to start singing, they sing them differently everywhere too.
Ooh, that is true.
So you got different rhythms, different beats. Some are slow, some are fast.
Okay, well, what song are you thinking of? And then I'll sing it how we sang it.
Do you know, like, I don't know. Do you know, like, This Is the Day?
Yeah.
So how do you sing it?
This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. That the Lord has made. I will rejoice.
Yeah, okay, so we sing the same. And be glad in it.
Oh, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made.
And they always harmonize.
Yes!
You always got somebody jumping in.
Always somebody doing ad-libs.
Yeah.
Always somebody doing a harmony, whether it works or not.
It'll be
like, find your parts.
Just jump in. We never had like real choir rehearsal. No. It was like sing whatever whatever you feel like he's gonna like,
and whatever
you hear.
My favorite part was having like the keyboard player, the organist, try to find the key that the person's actually singing in.
Yeah,
like, that's not the key we rehearsed it in. But no, I love that.
Oh,
yeah,
let the church say.
Let the church say. The doors of the church are now open.
Come on in the room.
And this has been another episode of Small Talk. You already know, 2 queens, 2 perspectives, 1 topic. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.